Welcome back to Finnegan's Farm and welcome back to Savoury Sunday. We're just in time for Valentine's Day. We're again joined by Pauric right here, the local chef, and we're joined by my mother, who has a few stories to tell around Valentine's Day and what they did in their day. So first of all, Pauric, what are we thinking for today? And coming up to Valentine's, you know, man in the house, has he time to cook? Does everyone go out for dinner, or do some people cook at home?
You said all of it there, Paul. Actually, there's a lot goes on around Valentine's, and all of the above are very, very important and very, very relevant, because some people love going out Valentine's. Some people hate going out Valentine's. Some people like cooking at home. Some people like doing nothing at all until a couple of days after it. So we'll put in it. We're going to do a little dish today. We're going to do a little duck dish.
Okay.
So we're going to do an Oriental duck stir fry. So we'll marinate the duck. We'll use some of Finnegan's products then to do a little accompanied dish beside that. We'll do red cabbage, there's a Savoy cabbage as well, and we're going to add a few peppers in there as well, just for a little bit of texture and contrast in the dish as well.
And really, it's all about the convenience. So we're talking about, you know, well, obviously maybe a half an hour, maybe even a bit longer to get it ready, just to create the ambience on the night as well. You know, you have to.
But it's also to take the pressure off, because there's nothing worse than being in the kitchen that evening if you are cooking at home for your husband or your wife or whoever, and you're busy in the kitchen. There's a lot of steam going on in the kitchen. This is a kind of a dish that you got to have prepared in advance. You got to have it marinating for a day or so prior to the Valentine's night itself. The stir fry can be prepared and ready to go and tossed off then, just as you're about to serve your duck.
You need to make it as simple as possible for me, who can't cook at all, that could prepare a dish on the evening, and maybe a bit of a surprise too, the fact that...
Is it going to happen now?
This may happen now, Pauric, so you better teach me well, so I have all the tips and tricks ready to go on the evening. Okay,
so very simply, what we're going to do here is we're just going to get our ingredients, Paul. Start off with a few spring onions. We're going to start off with a red chilli. We've got a little bit of coriander, we've got a little bit of garlic, and we're going to use a little bit of fresh ginger. We've got a nice soya sauce, a Kikkoman soya sauce. We've got a little bit of oyster sauce, and we've got a little bit of sesame oil. So that's going to be the ingredients. That's going to be the ingredients in our marinade. I'm going to get you to peel that, Paul, the clove of garlic there, if you don't mind. This is just a little tip to get the seeds out of a chilli. So if you roll the chilli around in your hand like that, keeping things a little bit simple, but the seeds are the thing that gives it a spice. So the more you fry those, the hotter they get. So we're going to take those out, because we just want the heat coming off the chilli, but we don't want it too intense with the seeds there. So we're going
to just grate it here, Paul.
All you do is push it down, Paul. Push down.
All right. Oh, that's simple, isn't it?
Isn't it simple as, yeah?
And rock it over and back, I presume that's
and you get a little knife then and rub it on the inside. That's your garlic. I'm going to get you to take a little bit of ginger now as well. I'm going to get you to just peel you see the coating that's on the outside of that? I'll get you to peel that off, if you don't mind. And while you're working away there, I'm going to chop the chilli down. That it's nice and small. It's nice to marinate this duck for a couple of hours prior to cooking, but as I said, it can be done a day in advance. I'm going to put the chilli into the bowl. Now we had 2 cloves of garlic there, so I'm just going to add 1 of those cloves of garlic into. You think you were doing it all your life, Paul?
It's like peeling a spud, Pauric.
Like peeling a spud, good man. Yeah, it's easy as that. Now, and we're going to grate that. I'm going to get you to grate that.
Any particular side? Or?
This side here.
This side here. Careful here, Pauric. Don't take the fingers off.
Yeah, no, I'd say you're far enough down there, Paul. Now I'd say you've enough done. So give it a wee tap. Oh, my hand's a dab hand. That's a dab hand. Lovely. That's great. So there's a lovely. You can just smell that ginger. There's a lovely.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Sweetness of it. What do you think, Danny Finnegan?
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Is ginger your thing?
No ginger on Nanny's day.
No ginger on Nanny's day.
No.
Now, and then the next thing I'm going to add in is just a little bit of fresh chopped coriander. Again, it doesn't need to be too fine. It's just for that intense flavour of the coriander, and then a little bit of spring onion at the end. We're going to put a little bit of spring onion in there. So half a tablespoon of oyster sauce, a tablespoon of sesame oil. And again, when I make a marinade, Paul, I don't like to have it really sopping in the and very, very liquidy. in the mix. We've got a lovely Silver Hill duck breast here. Beautiful Silver Hill duck produced in County Monaghan, Emmy Vale in County Monaghan. Did you ever come across them?
I did, yeah. I know they're on the way in there on the right hand side.
Yeah, fabulous, sustainable company. They use every part of the duck. A lovely breast. You can see the amount of flesh that's on it there, and the amount of flesh that's on it there. There's quite a bit of fat in comparison to it as well, isn't there?
There is too, yeah.
So it's what you do with the fat, to be honest with you, makes a difference. If you don't get it into a nice pan and seal it up properly, it can end up gristly.
Yeah.
You know, so you want to crisp it up. So I'm just going to trim off this little bit of sinew that's on the back of it here. A small little bit of sinew that's on the back of it, and what will happen, that stops it from toughening up on us. So if you have these pieces of sinew here and they're left on it, when they seal, they'll contract and they tighten up the flesh. So I'm just gonna trim that off. I'm gonna take it off that one and I'm gonna leave it on this one, so we can have a comparison then as to what it's like. Again, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna score the breast of it. So when you score the breast of it, it's just running a sharp knife along. To cut little slashes, not into the flesh so much, but just cut little slashes of the fat.
I'd always be afraid of my fingers with these big sharp knives.
Well, keep the fingers tucked back in, and you said the key word there. Once the knife is sharp, you'll be flying. And now it's time for the duck to go into our marinade. So as I said, you don't need a massive amount of marinade on your actual duck, but you do want everything that's there. Cathal, what do you think there? Cahill's licking the lips there, so he's licking the lips there, so he is. There's a little bit of the vegetables down there, which is the ginger, so we'll just get those up on top. No oil on the pan here, so it's going to be a good hot sizzle now at the minute, and that's important. So it's going to be skin side down, Paul. Skin side down will be going down first. Good man.
Good.
That's it. Yeah, perfect. Good man. With the two of those. And you can see the contraction. You can see the contraction in the fat of the duck straight away. So it's starting to seal up really, really well.
So roughly how long now will that be on the pan for Pauric?
So I'm giving that a minute. I'm going to give that a minute on each side, Paul. So they're ready for turning over now. So we're again using one of Nevin's tongs here, and it's got the silicone top on it there, so it's not too harsh on meat. So we're just going to turn that over. See the nice colouring that's taken on there. The caramelisation is happening. That's going to go into the oven.
Yeah, the oven is preheated there to, what's that, 200?
That's at 200, and we'll give it 5 minutes in there now, so we will. Now that's our 5 minutes, Paul, on the duck. We'll just have a wee look at it there. So we'll notice that it has contracted a nice piece. You know, it's got a little bit small. You can see the proteins are cooking out in it there. That's our proteins cooking out. Have a wee taste there, see what you're doing. That's the fillet of the duck.
Oh God, that's lovely.
Yeah, it'll be lovely and tender, won't it? The basis for our sauce is a tablespoon of brown sugar. We've got half a tablespoon of vinegar, malt vinegar. We have a little bit left over from our chili earlier on. We're just going to roughly chop that and put that into our pan. We've got a little bit of root ginger. No need to peel it this time because we're just looking for the flavour off it. So I'm just going to chop it up. I'm going to chop that up and add that in. And then we'll go with a clove of garlic in there too. So we're going to cook this. We're going to cook this down until it caramelizes. So we're going to put the tiniest little squeeze of tomato paste just to give the sauce a little bit of body. So half a teaspoon of tomato paste in there. So we're putting that on to cook then, and that's going to take a couple of minutes just to caramelize. The sugar will caramelize with the vinegar, and it'll infuse all the flavors, the garlic and the chili and the ginger in there. So our sauce is cooking up nicely now. You can see the vinegars have reduced out of it. The sugar is starting to caramelize now. The ginger is starting to impart its flavor. The garlic is in there, and the tomato paste as well. So we're just going to add a little bit of soya sauce and a little bit of oyster sauce into that now, and finish it off with coriander when it comes up to the boil. 2 tablespoons of that is going into our Hoisin sauce. Of that size, maybe 3. That'll be lovely, and that'll just melt down within the sauce now. You go one more, Paul. Yeah. When you taste this, Paul, you're definitely going to be glad you put the third one in. There's no doubt about it. It's a lovely, lovely sauce. So it is. Yeah. We're going to add a little bit of soya sauce in there. We'll swill that together. And that's your sauce done.
So I'm just going to chop up the coriander. You told me the last time how to. So you can
I did.
Still remember it there.
Hopefully you were doing a little bit of homework, Paul. So we'll see how you're getting on there. That's it. The technique is right. The fingers are kept tucked back in, aren't they?
Just very important with your fingers, Pauric, because you know you can buy a lot of things in Dunnes stores, but you can't buy fingers.
You can't buy fingers, is right. Yeah, fish fingers maybe, Paul, but that's about it. But they're no good yet.
Chop it finely.
Chop it finely, yeah. And that's for our Hoisin sauce then that we were finishing off. Nanny, Valentine's Day with yourselves.
Yes. Well,
Was it a thing?
It was, and it was very simplified, of course.
It was indeed.
Well, you got the card, and you got the card one year, but you kept it for every year.
You did?
So you put it, stored it away, and reused it.
And reused it. That actually happened. My wife used to do my wife's father and mother used to do the very same thing. That it was a card, and it was written and passed out every year.
Yeah, and a lovely card. The Valentine cards are lovely.
A lot of detail, I believe. A lot of detail and effort was put in effort. And all about love.
Yeah, it's all about love.
Yeah.
Life is all about love, isn't it?
Love is in the air.
And then the flowers, you would maybe get a bunch from the garden.
If you were lucky.
If you were lucky.
Yeah, if you were lucky. So sustainability was the element there that we were looking at. That reuse, recycle. Is that what it was?
Yes, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
We added about a tablespoon of water in that just to lighten the sauce down again. We're going to add the chop. You can add the chopped coriander in there, good man. That's great. And we're going to mix that.
A little bit there. That's it there now.
Now, so we're going to move on, Paul, to we're going to bring Finnegan's in here, of course, and we're going to have our accompaniment to our duck dish and our Hoisin sauce. So we're going to have a selection of of some of our sides here, from obviously made on Finnegan's farm.
Yeah, we are shopping at Dunnes Stores the weekend. Great deal on there at the minute. For €10 you get a main dish and 2 sides. So
a main dish and 2 sides.
One main dish and 2 sides there for €10.
For
€10.
Oh my God!
You couldn't really go too far wrong with that. So you could.
Most certainly not. No, that's a great deal. Right. Okay, so we're going to go with the. We're going to put the chips in first. Thanks very much, Danny. So the chips are taking 25 minutes then in the oven. So we'll open those up before. So we're going to put those into the oven then. In they go. Okay, so we've got our spring onions and our peppers there going into the bowl. We'll take a nice spoonful of the red cabbage and a spoonful of the green cabbage. And that's the makings up of our stir fry then. So over to the cooker and we'll get that on the go. Just going to take a little bit of the fat off it and into a good hot pan, again one of Nevin's pans again. And then we have our stir fry ingredients, which is the 2 cabbages, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of spring onion, and you know what to do next, Paul.
Yeah.
Just keep it frying there, and that's to stir fry it off. Like the cabbages all but cooked. It's just a matter of getting the peppers cooked up for it, you know. So that's the stir fry complete. Then the last thing we're going to finish off now is a little bit of the Dunnes Stores baby spinach, which is really, really nice. We're going to take our lovely duck breast then, Paul, that we have cooked, and I'm going to carve it just to let the viewers see how simple it is to cut through it and how succulent the actual duck is. So not over bloody either. That's a nice medium. Okay, so we're just going to pop that back into the pan. So we've got the beautiful stir fry that you did. The peppers, the 2 cabbage, remember?
Yep.
Finished off with the spinach. Now we're just going to take our duck breast that we've carved and leave it sitting on top there. And then we've got our lovely Hoisin sauce. And we'll just drizzle that around the outside. And not taken away from it then, we'll have our chips to go on top of that. I'm just going to grab those out of the oven now, Paul. If you were really looking for brownie points, Paul, for the Valentines, we can do a little design. So chips.
Okay.
Maybe we can try and arrange these nicely here. Pretend you're in the restaurant, Paul.
We am in a restaurant there. Sorry.
As good as.
So these are like a Jenga.
A little Jenga. We do a little Jenga chips. And that's our Oriental duck breast with a stir-fry vegetables and a little hoisin sauce around the outside. Now, Paul, the moment of truth, I suppose it's time to have a wee taste.
Yeah, this is the bit I always enjoy there when we're doing these videos, Pauric.
Good man.
It's very hard to smell and, keep looking at food and without tasting it. So
keep yourself composed.
I have to say, I'm not a great lover of duck, but I'm going to try one for the crack.
Oh, good man yourself. Hey, very boom boom.
What is that other duck joke you were telling me about earlier?
Well, there was these two ducks were flying over Belfast, and one turned around to the other and he goes quack, and the other duck turned around to him and he says, "I'm going as quack as I can."
Very good.
Definitely a lovely balanced meal, and then the potatoes and chips on top of that.
So hopefully now, on the evening of Valentines, this will replicate itself, and
with a bit of luck.
With a bit of luck, anyway. Yeah, so here's hoping. Thanks for this, Pauric. It's gorgeous.
You're very welcome.
So that's it for this week's Savoury Sunday. We hope you all enjoyed the video. Happy Valentine's, which is taking place next Tuesday evening. So lads and lassies, get prepared. It's so simple, even I can do it. Go ahead, Pauric.
I had a great crack.
You had a great crack at it.
I'd just like to say, if you wouldn't mind, to the listeners out there, I'm doing 100 miles for the month of February. And the benefactors of that is the Matter Foundation. I do it every year, actually. So it's jog, walk, or crawl.
I thought you were going to do it in the car, Pauric.
Well, it could be done in the car yet, Paul. At the rate I'm going, you wouldn't know. But I'm off to do a 6 kilometres now today, and hopefully we'll get that clocked up. But if anyone would like to donate, you can find me on Facebook, Pauric White, and the donate button is there. It'll be on all the social media channels.
Look, always for a great cause anyway. So look, from everyone here at Finnegan's Farm, we talk to you all on the next Savoury Sunday. Good luck.